Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Turner, president of the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce. And every year we do our legislative summit. This year, due to the COVID-19 and our shelter-in-place order, we're unable to do that. But what we are doing is a virtual version of our legislative summit. And today, I have with us Supervisor Mike Wasserman, who will be joining us. And Mike, you've joined us every year over the last 6 years in person.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful to you for being here today and want to welcome you. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mark. It's my pleasure to be here today with you. The summits you put on each year have been fantastic. I'm also proud to say that I've been a Gilroy Chamber member going on this is my 10th year, I believe. I've been a member of the Los Gatos Chamber for 30 years. I've been a member of the Gilroy and Morgan Hill Chambers for the last 10 years. And I'm happy to say today I'm sporting my Gilroy Strong shirt. All right. So Gilroy Strong indeed. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you and your members. We're in the midst of a crisis. You know, we have a housing crisis. We now have a COVID crisis. And I'm really hoping we avoid an economic catastrophe. That's certainly the next thing coming up. And I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you and your members. I am and have been a self-employed business person. Much more so prior to my stint on the Board of Supervisors. But I'm in residential and commercial property management, had a data processing company, paid rent, was a lessee, a lessor, currently giving all of our residential and commercial tenants half off their rent, both in April and May, to help them get through this. They're almost all mom and pops, and I'm trying to help them, but the dollar amounts are huge on both the tenants and the landlords. And it's getting tougher day by day, but I can tell you I'm in constant daily contact with the Public Health Office, and they are working on getting us through this crisis, and they are also working on a plan to bring our businesses out, to get our economy back, to reopen, if you will, and that's going on as well. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Mike. You have a lot of experience in the area of business, and I think that's a lot of the reasons why you are such a big supporter of local chambers of commerce, and we certainly do appreciate that. You've always been a big supporter of the Gilroy Chamber, and we're grateful for that. Let's go ahead and we'll jump into the questions here. A lot of these questions, of course, will be focused around COVID-19 and the things that we're dealing with as communities and certainly as businesses as well. So first one is, what resources does the county provide for local businesses?
Mark, my simplest answer for your viewers and for your members, if they go to my website, www.supervisorwasserman.org, and click on the COVID-19 resources, they will find a list which includes federal, state, and local programs, such as resources for businesses and workers, workforce resources, employees of affected businesses and unemployment claims, Santa Clara County COVID-19 assistance navigation, financial assistance for low-income residents, state payroll information, state work sharing program, state sales tax extensions and relief.
Very good. Thank you for that, Mike. How can the public get information about the local health officer's shelter-in-place order?
If they go, again, you can go to my site and link from there. You can Google Santa Clara County Public Health. The icon at the very top of their screen is one regarding COVID-19. You can also go to sccgov.org for the most up-to-date information that's out there. And one thing I'd like to share with your viewers, I do have, yes, this is a sample here of what they call a dashboard. This is what you will find on the public health website. Besides the actual order, there was an original order, and it's order with a capital O. It's what the public health officer issues. And Mark, it is actually law. An order is law, enforceable by law enforcement. And on their website, it's extremely extensive with all kinds of information about positive testing and deaths, city by city, the curves. You can see all that going on. But this is an example, and it is updated daily, of what's on, they call their dashboard. Very, very helpful. I suggest your members go there. It's a great learning experience, but I also suggest they take what they see and what they read with a grain of salt. A number of people have contacted me. The number of emails I receive each day is absolutely astounding. I was averaging about 300 a day. for the last 5 weeks.
Wow.
But what's there is, for instance, there's a number of people, Mark, out there calling for testing, testing, testing. Mm-hmm. And wondering, why aren't we testing everybody? Why aren't we doing more? Da, da, da. Well, on the one hand, as Supervisor Wasserman would say, as compared to the other hand, on the one hand, you could test everybody today, and you'll get roughly 10% that might be positive, maybe 5% that are positive. But then, do you test everybody tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day? You could be negative today, meaning you don't have COVID, and you can be positive tomorrow. So it's not test everybody that is the solution. It's who you test and when and how you compare. There's also 2 different types of tests. One's the test if you've had it, if you have antibodies. One the test if you haven't. So as you read the information on the public health website, please, 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 Gilroy Chamber of Commerce members, realize what you're reading. And I will tell you, what you read are facts. Do not rely on what you see on social medias and all these other places. The stuff on our dashboard are from doctors, are from our tests. They are facts. Thank you, Mark.
Good, thank you for that. It's good information for sure. We'll post that website information on our site as well. Like you mentioned, you hope it doesn't become an economic disaster, and we're starting to see more and more people filing for unemployment. We're seeing some concerns locally here, some of our Gilroy members who are suffering, and the longer, of course, this goes, the more likely more and more of our members will face the possibility of having to lay off more of their workers. Who can people call for unemployment questions?
Mark, I'll give you that answer in just a minute, but I would argue right now that we are in an economic disaster. I used catastrophe earlier. I would say we're clearly already in a recession, and hoping that the combined efforts at the county level, the state level, the federal level avoid us going into a depression. We've got businesses closed up and down every single street. We have more people unemployed, I believe, than in perhaps 100 years. I don't know that number for certain, but the unemployment is off the charts. But one of the things that a lot of people aren't thinking about, and I know I am as an elected official that represents one of 5 that represents the county, is county government, city government, your city of Gilroy, okay, one of the 5 great cities in my district. You rely on sales tax. You rely on TOT, transient occupancy tax, from hotels and motels. You rely on property taxes. The Gilroy outlets, a huge source of revenue for Gilroy, are basically closed. And this is several months of no sales tax that the city of Gilroy relies on for its infrastructure, for its public service, for its public safety, all of these things. So we have what's going on now with a great deal of people unemployed. We have businesses closed, many of which may not reopen. I have 2 friends that own restaurants. They had to lay off everybody. They're getting unemployment. They recently received their PPP funding. They contacted their employees, and their employees said, no thanks, we'll stay home. We're earning more not working than coming back to work. So the government got all this money out at one time, which there's pluses and minuses of printing trillions of dollars as far as money supply, but the bottom line is America and Americans need the money in order to spend and be consumers. But the pluses and minuses are the money got out so fast, there were obviously some errors made. And in the unemployment system, which we're talking about right now, there's also a huge number of people that are self-employed, that file Schedule Cs, do not get W-2s, they get 1099s. They are not eligible for unemployment. There's some dollars supposed to be coming out. I have not seen it yet with my unemployed friends that work in nail salons, hairstylists, gardeners, house cleaners. I haven't seen that yet. But when and if it does come, that'll be nice. But our economy's in a bit of a free fall right now, and it's going to get worse. So I'm looking forward to all the public health officers helping us ease out of it in a responsible way. As far as the unemployment questions go, any members that have questions can call the California Employment Department, which is open from 8 to 8 every day. You can use their new service called UI Online for unemployment insurance online. It's the fastest and most convenient way for people to file or reopen a claim, certify for benefits, and get up-to-date claim and payment information. The online mobile phone number is 833-978-2511, where you can get technical help for your unemployment. Also, the EDD site, the California EDD site, has got FAQs and information and phone numbers to help address your members' unemployment questions.
Thank you, Mike. I know at one point in time when this really all got underway, the governor had set out a plan, or at least communicated an idea of trying to house all of California's homeless during this crisis. I don't know how well that's going, but I guess the question is, how are the homeless individuals with COVID-19 being cared for? Are they being housed in some way?
Yes, they are. The state has a huge program going on with Motel 6, 10 to 15,000 motel rooms. The county itself is renting out hundreds and hundreds of rooms in Santa Clara County. We have partnered, with the homeless community by providing appropriate housing for every homeless individual who has tested positive or is suspected of having COVID-19. We're moving people into hotel rooms, temporary housing, opening additional shelters, and of course, during all of this, maintaining social distancing, hand washing, masks are available. There's hundreds and hundreds of people being placed throughout our county in motels and hotels, because these motels and hotels are not receiving tourists and guests. My son's wedding was supposed to take place next month. We had a 25-room block at a local hotel. All of that's canceled. The hotels are canceled. And again, that's the TOT tax, not to mention these are tourists coming into town that would go to your retail stores and buy products from jewelry and wine and everything else. So getting people back into these places, the hotels and motels are very, very anxious to do that. I have some numbers here. This is 2 weeks old, but as of April 16th, Mark, the county has secured 453 hotel and motel rooms in San Jose, Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, Morgan Hill, and Gilroy, and is working on securing more. We've placed hundreds of homeless people in those. We've also had nurses come, called travelers. Nurses come from other areas that don't have the rate of COVID positives that we have, the number of people coming from smaller communities, and we are housing the nurses in these hotels and motels as they're here in Santa Clara County to help our homeless, to help our COVID positive testing people.
Right, okay, good, good. Well, Mike, just follow-up question real quick on that. I'm assuming then at that point, where the homeless are being housed in these hotel rooms, is COT tax being paid to the local municipalities?
I would assume it is. I don't know that. I know we're paying the going rate, and we're doing that. We've also booked all of these rooms so that we have them available, and we're placing people in and out of them. Mm-hmm. But even for the hotelier, I believe that's the way you pronounce that name, right? That word. This is revenue, not only for the owner of the hotel, this is revenue for the maids, the house cleaners, the cooks, the clerks, the people that work the counters, the people that do the cleaning, the maintenance, and everything else. By the county renting these rooms in otherwise vacant hotels and motels, that's providing revenue to countless individuals in the hotel industry.
Right, keeping them employed. Well, thank you, Mike. That ends our first session here. Really appreciate that. We'll be back in just a few seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.